Hi, Theo here from ElectroFX.com. This is the first video in my new day trading series, and the chart that I'm using here is what I call a WavEFX chart. This is my personal preference when trying to read the lower time frame price action. Now on your screen we have the euro dollar for January 13th, and there appears to be some activity in this area right here, and this is what has resulted in this first push down. Now if this area holds again, I can consider it confirmed and really substantial enough to fight this trend and consider it a safe counter trend trade. Now in order to get the proof that I need that that area is holding, I'm going to use a WavEFX entry trigger, and this is done by looking at this fast level of price action that we're watching, which is the black line. Now we have a confirmed low right here and we have a confirmed high right here. So if price comes up and breaks that high, then of course there's nothing to do because we've broken this high. If price comes down and breaks this low, however, then we'll have an equal or lower high followed by a lower low, and that is what we're going to trade as a trigger, as proof that this area is now holding. Now I'm going to use the ElectroFX.com's trade manager to take this trade in a set and forget fashion, and it's also going to help me show you how to manage this trade. So based on everything that I've just said, we're going to look to trade the break of that low. So I'm going to place a pending sell line right there, and if price comes up here and breaks this high, then I want this trade to be void, so I'm going to place what's called an X sell right here. That just means that if price comes up and touches this line, it will delete my pending sell line and the trade will no longer happen. If price does come down though and trigger the pending sell, then we're going to want a stop loss. So I'm going to place a stop loss just above that area right there. And I'm going to place a take profit down in this area here. Now when I'm trying to judge the take profit, I have to keep a couple of things in mind. We are fighting this upward momentum, so we don't want to be too greedy. This is definitely the first obstacle in its path, and really we don't want to start targeting way down here on this first run off of this area. So I'm going to look into this cluster of price activity here and use that as my take profit. If I set my take profit line like so, we have that. Now if price doesn't quite make it to my take profit, I don't want it to turn around and it end up being a losing trade. So as a safety net, I'm going to place a break-even marker right here. And that just means that once price hits this line, it's going to move my stop loss down to break-even and I can no longer lose that trade. Now that I have everything in place, I can see up top here that my stop loss is 23 pips and my take profit is 25. And I'm moving to break even at 19. This means that my risk reward is very slightly above the 1-to-1 minimum requirement that I have. I don't want to ever risk more than I'm trying to gain. So the 1-to-1 is a minimum. I do often like to shoot for 1-to-2 or 1-to-3, but in this case it is still meeting my minimum requirements for the trade, so all systems are go. Now the trade manager will email when the trade is entered, so there's not really anything more to do at this point in time, and we'll continue the video once the trade is entered or if the trade is cancelled. Okay, this trade has been entered. As you can see, the stop loss is up top, our take profit is still there, the lock profit trigger is still there, our break even point, and the X sell line is the one that's disappeared because now it's not applicable to this trade since we are in it. The next phase of this trade to consider is going to be once we hit the break-even point to understand how we arrived at break-even, or if it hits our stop loss, and so we can analyze what happened. So there's really nothing more to do at this point, and we'll continue the video at the next juncture. Okay, this trade has made it to the break-even point. It's actually almost made it to take profit. The stop loss, as you can see, is moved to break even, which is +1, and really we can see here that the way that we've arrived, we definitely got caught up in this area as expected, and now that price has moved down, this is really a great place to be moving to break even. Now in actual fact, if I was watching this trade at this point in time right here as we came down and passed this group of lows, these two lows, then that would actually be a point to move to break even instead of down here. But as a set and forget trade, this is what has happened, and we can see that we got stuck at the low, but we then broke it and moved on down. So things are looking good, and at this point in time the trade is either going to turn around and hit the stop loss for +1, or it's going to come down and hit your take profit for a greater than 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, albeit by a very slight amount. So we'll continue the video at the next juncture of this trade. Okay, this trade has made it to take profit. Successful trade, somewhat counter trend as I said before, and the minimum requirements to really fight this short-term trend that we were in is something as significant as this: having an initial reaction, coming back to it and confirming that location. This is a system that I call location trigger management. We wait for a location, we wait for it to be retested, we use an entry trigger to confirm that retest, and then we judge our trade's risk reward and make sure that it's even worth it in the first place. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more.